smoking booth, right? I just got a roof back. In my home crib when they ask me what a stoop at.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Neptostep back with another video, and as you can tell from the title of this video, I'm going to be reacting to Khabib, or Habib as a lot of you guys would say, Nurmagomedov's upbringing, his childhood, his religion, his family life, rise of a savage. A lot of you guys wanted me to watch this video when I first reacted to Khabib a while back. I think that was like 6 months ago. But anyway, that video went viral, so thank you so much, guys. That was like literally a 300K view video. I'm still making a lot of money off of that video today. And supposedly, like, you guys, 2,000 of you subscribed to my channel from that video, so thank you guys so much. I figured why not go back to what got my channel kind of like started and react to Khabib or Habib. There were recently just clips of this dude fighting with his dad, and like they were just messing around, but like, dude, that guy's dad is even a beast. Like, he couldn't even take down his dad. His dad was kind of like hanging with him, and his dad's probably like in his 50s or 40s. It's ridiculous, man. They come from a line of straight beasts in that family. If you didn't know already, I love Khabib, and I'm a super fan of him after that Conor fight. I just really appreciated him shutting up Conor. I don't really like Conor McGregor too much, but I'm hoping that they do end up fighting again. And if you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment below what you think of Khabib, and if you like my reactions, let me know in the comments as well. And with no further ado, guys, I'm super juiced. If you want to join the Most Lit family on YouTube, join it. This is me, Neptostep. We're gonna dive into this reaction. Let's get it. Shout out to Molly Walked. They're the people that basically put this together in this documentary series.
Most 10-year-olds had their lazy asses plonked in front of a TV set playing World of Witchcraft or whatever, somewhere in the impoverished hills of Pakistan, a 10-year-old Khabib was out entertaining his comrades by rolling around in the dirt, grappling with a fucking bear. This video is just the type of meanwhile
excuse the language, man,
that can begin to explain why Russian fighters are typically tough as fuck and can at times have an almost haunting indifference to the prospect of gratuitous violence and just general savagery at the highest levels. But wrestling a bear sounds more brutal than it actually was. The reality is, the bear looks all cute and cuddly, and Khabib is just playing around. To get to the root of what really is
he's just messing around with the bear. There's nothing nothing unnormal about a 10-year-old just wrestling with a bear. Are you serious?
There are political, economic, cultural, and geographic considerations.
Totally normal.
A good starting point, though,
kids in the States do it all the time.
Training camp in which Khabib was basically raised. While developing his skills in the disciplines of wrestling, judo, and combat sambo, Khabib lived with 15 other boys training.
What a savage! This is a savage, man. He's really about that life, man. He has a gun, eating a cookie.
An unforgiving military-style training regimen overseen by his father, Abdulmanap.
He's a tough mother.
Whenever we hear of a fighter getting trained by his father, it immediately begs the question,
look at his dad.
Who is this guy, and what are his credentials?
Like a tough dude.
Abdulmanap began training wrestling at the age of 8 as a powerful tool for self-defense and to instill discipline. At the age of 19, he joined the army. In 1981, I joined the Russian army and participated in all sorts of sports competitions during my time there. It was a school of discipline. He then went on to study judo in one of Ukraine's top universities and fought his way onto the Ukrainian judo team. Over the next couple of years, he began collecting trophies, winning national championships in 3 separate disciplines: judo, sambo, and freestyle wrestling. So
whoa! This dude won 3. Do you realize how hard that is? A lot of you guys do, and you're just like, shut up. I didn't realize how hard that is. But 3 separate, so these are 3 separate different like fighting like categories that this dude's been a champion in. And then he's gonna go to the UFC, and he's a champion of the UFC now. It's just like, dude.
His own right, Abdulmanap was not.
I've said it since the beginning, since the last video I did on Khabib. Dude is probably gonna go down as one of the greatest fighters of all time, and I mean, he's still undefeated, so.
Not a man to be fucked with. And by combining his vast experience of high-level combat sports with the rigid structure of military life, He was the perfect man to mold young minds into a bunch of murderous fucking war machines. At the heart of Abdulmanap's training philosophy is the harsh principle of discipline or punishment. In a Russian documentary, Khabib stated, "There were a lot of punishments. I said to the father that I didn't want to study, he punished. When he explained to me with words, I didn't understand. With the fists, I understood immediately." So
I'm gonna stop it right there because that's very true. A lot of people don't learn until physical discipline takes place, and it's like you can tell someone what you want them to do, but like they're not gonna do it until they feel pain in some sort of like physical It's sad, but hey, that's what happens, and that's how like you get kids and people to respect you and listen to you.
We're not talking about taking away Khabib's Game Boy. It was more of a step out of line and
get the fuck
smacked out of you by a grown-ass man style discipline. This type of corporal punishment and military lifestyle may seem extreme or even barbaric in the West. But in Dagestan at the time, most young men were facing two options: a career in sports or militant Islam. So if you go to career guidance in Dagestan, you might be getting a fucking death sentence. In the Western world, we have the privilege of peaceful parenting, but there's no doubt in my mind that Abdulmanap was coming from a good place. He was doing everything in his power to equip his sons and students with everything they needed to deal with the harsh realities of the Caucasus.
I respect that. I respect his father for, he didn't raise his kids soft. Like, they're not soft. You can tell, I mean, they're both like, especially, I don't know about the other brother, but at least Khabib himself, he's extreme. Like, we know he's not soft. Like, dude's a beast. Dude's a stud. He's been successful in his career. Sorry to exit full screen. My computer's tripping out. But yeah, I respect that dad like a lot, man. Like, he's teaching his sons how to really be like a man. Like, we need more of that in the world today.
Having said that, even though that type of parenting is totally unnecessary in the West, when you look at some of the pathetic bullshit on college campuses these days,
thank you.
You could stick some of these assholes
hey, actually,
in a container.
I'm not gonna keep it too political.
To Dagestan to spend a semester or two with Abdulmanap. If they started yapping about campus safe spaces, then doctors would have to surgically remove Abdulmanap's boot from their ass like they're delivering a fucking baby. And the proof is in the pudding. Abdulmanap is regarded as the father of MMA in Dagestan. He's produced 20 Combat World Sambo champions, and at least 4 of his students have made it to the UFC. There are certain athletes whose story it's impossible to untangle from their mentor. Mike Tyson and Customato, for example. A big part of Tyson's success came from his reverence for the wisdom of his teacher and the humble acceptance that even in the face of enormous success, he was still the student. Well, Khabib very much has this reverence for Abdulmanap. It's shameful to offend a father or an elder. If you're punished, it means you deserved it. And it must be incredibly powerful when the man guiding your career and teaching you everything you know is also your primary motivation. After an emotional win over Abel Truth.
Yeah, you live around that, and you grow up around someone that's like that, pushing you constantly and teaching you, hey, you don't give up, you get up, you rise every single day, and you work hard at something, you're gonna become great, Like, he's constantly being reminded by his father, I expect this out of you, you're gonna get there, and look where he is now.
Khabib stated, "My main motivation is my father. He invested a lot of time into me. He brought me up and made a man out of me. And his happy face after the fight is the best reward for me. I cannot let him down." Khabib has stated that his father always created the toughest conditions with the stated goal of either mentally breaking Khabib or driving him to reach that next level, constantly striving to improve. Now, say what you want about the methods, but that type of relentless striving is how you create one tough motherfucker with an unbreakable spirit and a work ethic that shits all over your regular, average, world-class fighter. To summarize
your average entitled American fighter.
that whole point, Khabib was simply bred to be a savage. It's not what he does, it's who he is. When Khabib was discussing the time he spent injured, he said the following: It was like someone takes you and puts you in jail, like you were isolated. In other words, martial arts and violence is how Khabib relates to the world. Without it, he feels completely cut off from humanity.
You have that mindset. That's scary.
Every nation is a fighting nation, if you go back far enough. But in
you're going to be
Dagestan,
successful.
There's still blood on the soil. There's a brilliant article on Bloody Elbow describing the history of the region. Dagestan and the Caucasus were conquered by the Soviet Union in the 1800s in a brutal takeover that lasted almost 50 years. Since then, the region has played host to a series of attempts to establish an independent Islamic state, often centered in Dagestan. The most recent of these was in 1999, when there was a brief conflict between warring Islamic factions vying for control of the region. The whole affair lasted only 6 weeks before Russian airstrikes bombed the fuck out of their asses and brought an emphatic end to the conflict.
I didn't know that
Dominat
there'd be
believes
this
the
much
conflict had an
cussing.
impact
Sorry.
on his children. The simmering tensions and constant threat of danger in the region placed training in a very different context, namely as preparation for the potential onset of war. I believe every man must be ready for war, even in peaceful times. It is always a topic of discussion in the Caucasus. We often hear fighters say, "I'll fight anywhere. I'll fight in the street." But when Khabib says it in that calm, ice-cold, matter-of-fact monotone, you believe him. I'm sure for most fighters, the UFC is about the highest stakes they can imagine.
Yeah.
But from the time Khabib was a child, grappling with a bear, his subconscious has likely been grappling with the prospect of a fight with far greater consequences, where it's not a matter of win bonuses and title shots, it's a matter of life and fucking death. The usual pressure and nerves associated with a fist fight must have muted significance for someone whose whole psychology has adapted to living in an area of boiling hostility between radical Islamic fundamentalists.
Yeah, he had to always be ready.
Good luck getting in Khabib's head.
Yeah.
The guy is ice cold. He states his intentions without any theatrics or emotion, like he's simply stating a fact. Water is wet, the sky is blue, I'm gonna fucking smash you. Can you imagine the build-up for McGregor versus Khabib? A lot was made of the confrontation heading into 205, but for me, a better summary of the two personalities were their post-fight interviews. Both were fucking glorious. Conor was his usual brash, charismatic self. Where the fuck is my other belt? $4 billion? Cheap motherfuckers. Khabib, on the other hand, was cool, concise,
humble,
and supremely confident in the face of a hostile crowd. Beginning of year, he tapped like chicken. End of year, he fight for title.
Which is
There's
why we
only
love
6
him.
million Irish, there's 150 million Russians. On the MMA Hour, John Kavanagh later replied, "It may be 150
you gotta love
million versus
Khabib.
6
I don't know how
million,
you could hate this
but
man.
when that cage door closes, it's one-on-one. Perfect. No disrespect to Ferguson, but when you consider every...
Let me know in the comments right now if you're still watching this, or not even in the comments. I'm gonna put a little card up on the top of the screen. Let me know if you want to see a Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor again. I definitely do. I don't know like who wouldn't, but like let me know in the right here. Click this card.
Everything. The styles, a surgical striker versus a relentless grappler.
Yeah.
The psychological warfare, a mouth that can decimate opponents versus an unbreakable will.
He's
The
just all
personalities,
talk.
confident and overstated versus equally confident but understated.
The person that talks the most in a fight always ends up getting their ass kicked. It's just like, it just happens, you know? It's like whoever talks the most, whoever brags the most is really mentally actually afraid. And they're actually scared. That's why they have to top their game up so much, because they know they're gonna, you know.
Khabib versus McGregor is my most anticipated fight for 2017. It is a glorious clash of two polar opposite titans of the sport, right in their fucking prime. Does not get any better.
You need to see
If
a
you
part
developed
2.
the photo negative of McGregor, you'd have a picture of Nurmagomedov, probably holding a fucking knife. The last thing I want to briefly touch on is the geography, religion, and culture of the region. In the documentary, Khabib stated, "We have grown up in such severe conditions, in mountains. Therefore, it is evident in our spirit. Compare 15 minutes in the cage to life in the mountains. It is incomparable. Abdulmanap has stated, "In my opinion, training deep in the mountains is an irreplaceable part of training. You simply cannot go 3 or 5 full rounds without elevation training." With regards to religion,
which reminds me of when Khabib did fight Conor. I mean, Conor looked exhausted. I think it was like at the end of round 2 and maybe round 3. He was just completely exhausted. I remember Conor just looking so out of shape. And Khabib, you know, he looked like he was in the best shape of his life. He looked like he could go another 8 rounds.
Khabib is a devout Muslim, which, as we know, does not tolerate vices like drink or drugs. If you went out of your way to orchestrate the perfect circumstances to produce
which we know Conor does,
mental monster,
right?
You'd have a hard time doing better than the cold, cruel mountains of Dagestan. And that is the monster who arrived on American shores. By the time Khabib made it to the UFC, he had spent almost his entire life training at altitude, under Spartan conditions.
That's what I was saying.
Mountain town.
No one's training like this, man.
No serious distractions outside the terrifying prospect of civil war, while practicing a religion that simply does not permit vices. Khabib's not your average
completely
fighter.
Focused.
He is a fucking savage.
Liked it. Yeah, so Khabib Nurmagomedov, Rise of a Savage. Thank you so much for recommending me this video, guys. I really appreciate it. Honestly, that shows like a lot about Khabib and shows like his hard work, where he came from, his upbringing, his Muslim religion, and all of that really affects how he performs out, like, you know, in the cage. You know, he's focused 365 days out of the year. Dude's a beast. It shows. He's training in high altitude constantly. I mean, no one else is doing that. No one else had to live through times of war in order to survive. You know, it doesn't happen. He's built differently. That's why he's a champion right now. And yeah, I really want to see a Khabib versus Conor McGregor Part 2 fight. Let me know if you want to see that as well. Drop below more comments, like ideas below in the comment section. If you haven't already, like this video. I'm aiming at 100 likes the first 2 days this video is published. If you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button and check out some more of my reactions. I do reactions every week. I try to do them at least like 3 days out of the week. So if you enjoyed this, definitely be sure to check out my other videos. Thank you so much for watching. This is Rise of a Savage, my reaction to it. Nep the Step. I'm out of here, guys. Take care.